Hello all. So we are live on Facebook Live, and so I'm going to talk to you today about my, self-development journey and how I came to be on the path of experiencing breath work, and also now passing on the baton in the sense of learning about breath work and being able to help others. So really, really exciting times. So, other people might have had difficult experiences with them to reassess and reanalyze. But I didn't have any major trauma in my life that asked me to reassess my own experience. Just putting a bit of light. It's basically just slowly and gradually losing the joy of life, and I got to the point where I was feeling that I was stuck in a little wheel, just going to work every day and going through the motions every day, but not actually really feeling the joy inside of me. So really, I was feeling that I've lost the will to have a good life, or the will to make an effort and to enjoy myself. So I felt really, really low, and I had no reason for that. I had a good boyfriend at the time, which now he is my husband. I had a good job, paid next to nothing on rent, and yet I was feeling like nothing was there that meant something for me. So with the help of breath work and Acorn to Walk, I really did discover the joy for self again. So what happens is that sometimes we feel that we are exposed, or when feelings come up, we feel that we are exposed and we are exposing ourselves too much, and therefore we do not wish to let others in. So by making ourselves invulnerable, or by putting ourselves into a cocoon of strength, we actually cut ourselves from outside people and from others. So then it becomes more difficult for us to feel the joy into our lives, and also the sadness. So there were times into my life when I felt that I did not want to be vulnerable or expose that vulnerable side to others. So by shutting that part away and not showing my vulnerable side to others, I actually shut off other areas as well. So other areas that were joy and spontaneity, and as a Penny from breath work, or the inventor of breath work, would say, all those things that make life juicy and worth living. So we have the conscious mind, and the conscious mind, helps us to process the everyday emotions and the everyday life, and the everyday things that are happening to us, such as work and travel and all the things that are happening to us. But we also have the subconscious. So in the subconscious, we store things that are helpful to us, like the skill of driving, or any other skill, or even the skill of hoovering and not thinking about it. So we store all of those things that are helpful to us, but also things that are not helpful to us. So when we are not willing and not wanting to feel an emotion, they all get stored into the subconscious. We don't discriminate in between what we put there. It's like a storing warehouse, and all sorts of good and not so helpful things are found there. So when you make a decision, or when I made the decision of just not allowing others to feel my vulnerability or to show my vulnerability to others, I stored away all the emotions that had anything to do with sadness, or not allowing myself to cry, or making it wrong when I was crying regardless of the reason. So stored it all away and just not willing to interact with it. And again, what also did is that I stored away other things that worth living for and were good in my life, like joy and like happiness. So what then I did is, obviously because the joy of life was slowly draining away, I discovered breath work. So breath work allows you to actually go into your subconscious warehouse and look at everything that you have there. Oh, I have a skill. Oh, this is helpful. I'll dust it up and I'll put it there. Oh, I have an emotion that I'm not quite sure what to do with. Well, what I am going to do is actually transmute it, i.e. raise its vibration and then integrate it so it is more helpful to us. So by doing that, you're not making anything wrong. There is no wrong, there is no right, there just is. And all of these things that are in the subconscious, they are equally helpful. But some that have higher vibrations, such as skills, such as driving, they are more helpful to us. But things that are maybe not so helpful, such as repressed anger or suppressed sadness, then they might be more helpful to us if we actually raise their vibration and we allow them to reintegrate back into our life in a more helpful way. So, as I was saying to you, because I was losing, the joy of life, I was losing. Breath work helped me to look at all those emotions and all the events that have actually enabled me to, or they have made me suppress those emotions. So I was able to raise their vibration and reintegrate them in a helpful way to me. So you might say to yourself, how does that actually work? Because I hear the words that you're saying, but how does that actually work? So, you come to a breathwork session, you lay down onto the pillow and onto the mat, and you just, we will do a countdown, and you just start breathing. So the breath work is a conscious, connected breath work. So it's a So you bring energy on the in-breath, and then the out-breath is a flowing breath. And that will actually take you onto a journey. And the journey, it's very much like a train journey. So you might sit yourself down and then take your iPad, take your iPhone, take your cross puzzle if you want to do any of those, and you just settle yourself in. And that represents the first part of the breath work. And you might think to yourself, what is this? How is this actually working? It's insane. And this is the monkey mind stage, where you think, oh, this is mad, this is never gonna work, and it's what is this all about? So then after that you get past the monkey mind, and all of a sudden, like in a train journey, you exit London and you hit the countryside, and oh my gosh, it is lovely. And I should know, because actually I've recently come back from a holiday in the countryside and it was lovely. So you just look at the trees and look at the birds, and you keep the breath moving and you keep the breath going, and it's just a lovely experience. And all of a sudden you might hit one of those difficult emotions that I was talking to you about earlier, and it might be sadness or anger, whatever it might be. So in that point you have three options. You could backpedal and say, I don't want to deal with this, or you could actually go through it slowly and feel the pain, which actually no one wants to do that, be in the pain. That's the whole point of breath work, to move on and have a happier life. Or you can actually speed up the breath and go through the difficult emotion and come out on the other side. So when you come out on the other side, I've done it so many times, and that is why I'm here talking to you about it, because it is such a joyous and relief feeling knowing that you have dealt with something. Because difficult emotions come up all the time, either in breath work or outside in everyday life. But if we choose to deal with them, then we will have a more joyous, more rewarding, and we will be able to stay present in our lives more. So, it's not always easy to do that in everyday life, and that is why breath work is here for you. So during the breath work, you go into your subconscious and you look at all those stored up emotions or events in your lives that were too difficult or too painful for you to actually deal with then and there. So it will give you more joy, more ability to stay present in the moment. So thanks for everyone watching. Now, if you would have any questions, I am open for questions right now. Otherwise, I can keep on talking until somebody types a question, if you have a question. Right, so I'm just going to say a story that, I really like, and I think it resonates with the theme of tonight. So there was a man, and he once fell in a bottomless pit. And this pit, it was bottomless. So he kept falling and falling. And all of a sudden, he grabs onto a branch. I was like, oh my God, thank God that, I grabbed onto this branch. And he looks up and he shouts, is there anyone out there? And then a voice answers, yes, I am here. And the man said, who is that? I am the universe. And the man thought to himself, oh my gosh, this is great. It's the universe. It's like, the actual universe. You couldn't get any better than this. And the man looked up and said, help me, what should I do? And the universe answers, let go. What did you say? The man said, let go, you are safe, let go. And then the man thinks about it for a second, and he looks up and he says, is there anyone else up there? And sometimes that's how we feel, we hear some guidance, we hear the words, and we are sometimes unable to let go of the things or the branches that are unhelpful to us. And breath work can help us do that, to let go of the things that are no longer necessary or we are no longer needed to carry in our lives. So Adam has a question. He says, what do you mean by staying present? Staying present is living life in the moment and not it should be, or by what it should look like, or what you think that it should look like. So, you know, like, for example, going to your shop and finding your favorite cake half price and you buying it. It's like that's living in the moment, taking advantage of the opportunities that are coming to you then and there, and not expecting less, and not you know, wanting more. So yes, living in the present is just being present in the moment and not have a wandering mind and wandering thoughts, because thoughts, they're helpful. You know, we obviously have thoughts when we work, and um, um, so we obviously have thoughts all the time, but sometimes it's really good to just have a quiet mind, and living in the present can help us do that. Have a quiet mind and know what is right here, right now. There was a wise person, who said, your life is never happening at any point except now. It's not in the past. There's nothing that you can do about the past, and it's not in the future. The only thing that you can influence your future by is living in the present. If you're going to live in the present, then you have a chance of influencing your future. Right. Well, thank you all for joining, and I do have a hope that you've enjoyed yourselves, and I shall see you at the next talk. And by the way, the whole point of this was because it is, I am trying, sorry, I'm not trying. So the reason why I'm making mistakes, by the way, is because I'm also reading to what these great people are writing and your great support for me. And I'm also trying to think and talk at the same time, so that's why I'm stumbling. So I thank you all for joining me today. And the whole point of me doing this is because I am training to become a breathwork practitioner. And the joy and the full of lifeness that I found doing breathwork, I want to share this with others. So I will put a link afterwards to my low-cost clinics if you would like to try a full breathwork session for half the price. Because I wasn't able to do it prior to this video. But thank you all for coming in, and I'm very grateful. Bye-bye.